You can see it? No, right, where's...
That's what it said. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
It's streaming live. Now, I'm just going to go onto my Facebook page. And hi, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of The Abundance Show. And today I'm here with Joyce, who I will be introducing in a minute. What I first want to do is, as everybody comes on, please say say hi, give us love, share it, and say where you're from. And I'm just going to share this to my, let's get on here. I've got my mobile here at the moment. I'm just going to make sure I can, yes, live. It says I'm live, but I can't see me live, okay?
Yeah, we're live on Facebook. It says in the corner up here.
It says in the corner. The thing is, on Facebook, I'm not. Here we go. Yeah, you're waving well there. Right, okay. So, right, so just want to see if I can share it. Let me see. I'll just have to go back into here. I need 3 computers, I've decided, not 2. Right, okay. So, first of all, what I'm going to do while I'm just sharing here is tell you why we're doing how to manifest your dreams with a vision board today. Because on our very first episode last week with Karen Palmer, I drew cards and things, and we had this theme of abundance for August. And I just happened to start the show on the 8th of the 8th at 8 a.m., which I just thought was very, very intuitive, very instinctive. And because the Dream Big card, here we go, we're on. Because the Dream Big card was, the Dream Big card came up, I thought, this is a wonderful opportunity to do a vision board session, because many years ago, actually about 11 years ago, I met Joyce at what was then the Blog World Expo in Las Vegas. My friend Stephanie Bell took me and said, "You've got to meet this person." I was launching my book, Emergings, with and Liz Strauss did that for me there, which was just amazing. And we're going to share this to my story. We're live now. Manifest your dream. And so I met her, and at that point she had this manuscript for this book called the Vision Board Book, which unfortunately I can't hold up, but Joyce will hold up, because I have just moved and I can't find it anywhere. I've turned the whole house upside down today, but I just can't find it.
Yeah, but you have me.
We have you, but it's very good to also let people know. I'll put the link in afterwards, so if people want to get the book, and Joyce has something exciting to share about this book a little bit later. So this book took my visioning to a whole new level. I had always made dream boards and things like that, but actually meeting Joyce in person. So Joyce lives in LA, right?
Marina Del Rey, California, and then I'm also
Del Rey, which is a beautiful part. And she's been a journalist, just has this really broad, very broad experience. She's a producer. She's a Hollywood and a VIP coach, and she's a deal maker. I think I remember that about when I first met her. I felt she had that sort of quality. She's a social entrepreneur and a founder of the Center for Successful Careering. She was one of the early women pioneers in multimedia and new media. And she has successfully launched more than 75 venture-funded startup companies. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. She's an internationally recognized speaker, corporate advisor, and futurist. And she is the author of the Vision Board book and the founder of the Vision Board Institute, of which I am one of her coaches and one of her members there, because back in 2012 I actually took the training with her. So this was really amazing. So what I'd like you to do now is give Joyce a big welcome. Hi, Joyce.
Thank you. Want to welcome you too, and congratulations on the show. What a great title, Abundance.
Hi,
so you're sharing that.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's interesting, Joyce. It came about through I decided I was inspired by the Mind movie lady, whose name I've forgotten right now. She had an inspiration show, and I thought, wow, I could do the Abundance show. I even bought the domain and then just didn't do anything with it. So I was on a show with Karen on her Spirituality Gone Wild. And we were just talking about this. And she said, you know, you right?
I'm here.
All right. Karen and I were talking. Karen and I first did a show on Blab. I don't know whether you remember, Joyce, remember Blab many years ago. And
oh, yes, of course.
Oh, I'd really like to do a show with you again. And I said, well, I keep promising to start the Abundance show. So here we are. Last week, we did our first episode on the Abundance show. And that day I did two. Because it was 8/8, I got my friend Bobby Paritha to come and do a numerology session in the afternoon. So
good idea.
Yes, it was. And he will be a regular. He will come on once a month as a regular guest, and Karen will be on as a regular guest.
Good. And maybe I can come every quarter.
Right. Okay. And we can.
Every quarter is when I suggest you do a new vision board: summer, fall, winter, spring.
Okay. Well, that sounds a really good idea. And one of the things I'll be offering people at the end of this is looking at. I'm going to actually do an online vision board workshop, so we'll be doing that as well.
Good.
And I'd just like to say hi to Logan. Logan, tell us where you're from. And so this came about because the Dream Big card kept coming up from my deck of oracle cards. And I thought it was interesting. I drew a card this morning, and I usually draw a card for the show just before we start. And if there's time at the end, I choose a couple of people to do a one reading from. But let's see what comes up now.
Okay, let's see what we get, what the world gets.
Let's see what we get.
The universe gives us.
Yes, well,
these
the universe
are gorgeous too.
Oh, thank you. Well, these came out of my healing journey. And one of the things I did with Joyce, I should share, is I had a healing board, which was all my chakras, because I had, about the time At the time I did the training with Joyce, I had just come out of a total kidney failure, and I was on in
Right.
bed. I did the whole course from the bed, I think so.
Right.
And now I'm about to start doing
Well,
some
let's call it a
online workshops.
disruption, not a failure. Okay, Suzie?
Sorry?
Let's call it disruption, not a failure. We learned from everything, so it wasn't really a failure.
Oh no, it learned, and these were born out of this. These were born
Okay.
out of the I started painting hearts
Right.
as part of
Innovation
my
is born out of
healing.
chaos.
So everybody, let's just tap into our heart for a minute and just see. Just breathe in and see what is it that our hearts want to whisper to us today. Oh, well, here we go. We have
Excellent.
We have freedom.
Wow.
That is, and that is an interesting starting point. A starting point for our talk today, I think. Very interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so very interesting starting point here for where we're going for today. So, Joyce, can you share with people first how the vision board book came about? What was it that inspired you to start this?
Yes, this is a fascinating story talking about, I know both you and I have overcome several different illnesses, and we know that many people are dealing with physical challenges today, and they may have families dealing with it. Well, I had just been in the hospital, and I had an abscess on my colon, and they didn't have to operate. I was visioning health the whole time I was there for 4 days. They didn't have to operate. I came home. I was really tired though. I was on a lot of meds, and they finally stopped them. Then I was watching Oprah and on the TV, and I don't usually watch her, but when she was still on, this is like 11 years ago, I'm watching Oprah, and I saw Lisa Nichols and Jack Canfield and a bunch of other people from The Secret, and they were talking about vision boards. And I went, wow, I did one of those, and we've all done one. But how do you really do it? What is really the secret? How many things can you put on the board? I'm thinking, what kind of glue? All those kind of things. Then I thought, it has to be more than what kind of glue and how many pictures to put up. So I started researching, and I actually researched the history of vision boards. If you want to know about that, you can go to a little site called whatisavisionboard.com, and we're not selling you anything there. And you can find out about the history of vision boards, how it goes back to the caveman and woman era and the caves in Chauvin, France, where they used to put pictographs up and vision their hunts and vision their future before they would new grounds. Now, anyway, so I'm sitting there and I thought, you know what? The secret's so hot, and yet nobody tells you the secret behind the secret. How do you actually use the visioning? And visioning, I knew, was much more than just envisioning and much more than visualization. And I realized there was an anthropological viewpoint of it too. And when I researched it, it turned out that everything from UNICEF to the UN, all of them have programs in visioning, and they also have programs in identifying pictures. Here's one from the UN, pretty tiny, but you can see it on, let's see, this is on page 2 of the book, and it tells a little bit about that. And then we also talk about the importance of every single picture of the background, and even like Susie's background now, I'm looking at her background and I'm seeing ocean. Others may look at it and see clouds. Others may look at it and see something else. Then coincidentally, and probably not so coincidentally, Susie and I both have the same colored dress on. And we didn't plan it that way, but that means that we're meant to be speaking to you today. And here we are in blue, but in a very, very bright color blue that basically is optimism. And that's the other thing we want to share with people. So that was basically the story. I took the manuscript or the proposal to a publisher, a famous publisher, and let's just say that didn't quite work out. And so I came back from being with them. I didn't come back from them. I was actually on the phone with a friend of mine. And I said, "You have an agent in New York, don't you?" She says, "Yeah, she sold 1,000 books." I went to her website and I went, "Oh, wow. I think she's perfect." And she was talking about visioning your future and all of that. I called her up just out of nowhere. I said, "My friend Karen suggested I call you." And she said, "Oh, okay, I have time now." I said, "Oh, okay." I pitched her. She says, "Yeah, we've got a great book. Great book. Send me that." I sent it to her. She helped me with the proposal some more. And the book went up for auction with a number of different publishing companies. And long story short, the agent and I were able to get $100,000 advance for the book. Yeah.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
you don't get it all at once. So you get it, over 4 years. So basically, over the 2 years, you're writing the book and the paperback book and whatever. But it was still very exciting. And then I decided, I can't write this book by myself. So I started making calls to Bob Proctor to do the foreword and to Jack Canfield to do the afterword. Canfield, I'd actually hired. You guys know him from Chicken Soup for the Soul and his Success Principles series. And I'd hired him years ago, the Success Principles. Yeah, I'd hired him years ago to talk to a group that I was booking. As Susie says, I'm quite an entrepreneur, and I was putting on a big convention for people. This is Jack's vision board here in the high-tech business. And I said, "Would you come and talk about Chicken Soup for the Soul?" And people thought it was a little weird at first, but they liked it. And so we actually got a chance to pay him some nice money for speaking. And so, of course, he remembered me. And then I started with some other things. Susie, I do have to take this call, as some of you know, from the publisher. I'm going to have to take this. I'll be right back, okay?
Right. So she will be back and we will keep going. We'll be talking about freedom. I will just come back here. Right. We'll just see. This, we got, Joyce just got the time slightly confused. And she has to speak to a judge. So she will be back. And while she's hi Joan. Yeah, if everybody could just say hi and just put in where you live as well. And please share it out. There'll be lots of people who want to know a lot more about freedom. So what I'm going to share with you first is, unfortunately, I can't find my vision board book this morning. I've turned the house upside down. We've just moved. I know I've put it down somewhere. But what I wanted to share with you is there's a story in the book, and it's a family, and they wanted to travel the world. And what they did, their vision board was freedom. They wrote painted freedom all over the world. They actually did have traveled all over the world, but they painted that. And I just wanted to show you today I've made my own freedom vision board. This vision board is painted. I've got hearts and hands cut out. There's one thing that's probably Joyce would say is missing. One of Joyce's secrets of the vision board is always have a picture of you. But this is something I have up in my office here that I can see, and I call myself a freedompreneur, and that's part of, I belong to a group of freedompreneurs, and it's part of a business that I do as well, alongside all my art and my Heart Whisper movement. So what we'll do while Joyce is away, what I'd like to know is, does anybody who's online, do you actually have a vision board? Is this something that you make? You might have It might be in a, I can't just get this, it might be on card or paper like mine is and painted. Generally, they're made from pictures that you've cut out of magazines. And when Joyce comes back, she'll be sharing 3 ways that she does it. And we'll, yeah, so what I'd like to know is, do people have vision boards? If people have vision boards, we haven't got, nothing's coming up on my thing here. Anyway, so what we will do, so this is the card that came up today. And I'll just, for those people who are new to me, I'm Suzie Cheel. I'm known as the Heart Whisperer and also the Abundance Queen, which hence the Abundance Show. And I'm a intuitive artist, mentor, and coach. I'm an author, and what I call is I'm a digital marketer. And one of the things I had was I had a near-death experience 8 years ago, and my whole kidneys collapsed. And I was sitting in a dialysis chair. And I said, why me? Why me? And I got this huge download. And my download was, Suzie, you will be healed when you fully love yourself. And that's the message you will share with the world. And I've just been reading something today about love and about the power of love, and what Rhonda Byrne, who wrote this book, Secret, says, talks about the law of love. And I'm going to do a whole show on that because it's very interesting. Goes back a lot in history. So as part of my healing journey, I started painting hearts. And I was already an angel intuitive with Doreen Virtue, who no longer does oracle cards. But that's how I learned. And that was how the readings I did for people. So then I decided to make my own deck of cards. So this deck of cards, Sydney, who's on here, owns a set. And as she said, she now owns 2 of my paintings because these come with paintings. Come with a painting, or you can book a reading and get a deck of cards as well. There's different ways to get these. And yes, I do ship them around the world. Most of them go around the world. So that's how these came about. And I've decided that it's time for an extra deck to be added to these because there's quite a lot of words missing. We worked out last week, working with Karen, that the word that's missing, one of the words that's missing is kindness. There's no creativity card. And as most of you know, I'm an artist, so there could be a creativity card. So there is another deck coming. And it'll sort of, what is it? 30? It'll be actually about the size of it. The 2 of them together will be the size of a tarot deck. I think tarot's about 76 cards. I'm just watching here. Just check that nobody, I've got my mobile here if I'm looking away. So what I'm going to do today, so we've got, so today the card we pulled was freedom. The card, fascinating, it's underneath. The card for this month is about listening. That we really tap into listening. And I have shared the reading, and I did, and I'll just share the card that I pulled this morning. I do a card for myself at the moment, sometimes 2 or 3. The card I pulled for myself this morning was prosperity. And I just thought, the message on the prosperity card is follow one path until success. And of course, there we go. So this is a card that I chose this morning. We've got here. So when we truly listen to our hearts, then prosperity can flow. And this is about success comes by following one path. When you follow one path, prosperity will flow. So, and then last week we had Dream Big. And Joyce is back. But I haven't got sound yet. Joyce?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we're back. Okay, so
Okay,
I was
I'm
just
back.
sharing a little bit about me, cards, and I was sharing I've shown them the freedom, my freedom board.
Oh, yeah.
And I've
Right,
talked
right.
about the freedom wall that's in your book.
Yeah, right.
You might like
Freedom's the number one vision that people have. And in fact, many of the great gurus and priests and all kinds of illuminated ones say that freedom is the one thing which is our essence, and it is the way that what we are really looking for in life. And obviously, you can have talking about abundance, you can have multi-million dollars, but I just noticed that another famous American TV couple is off to prison today because their abundance was all fake.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
Yes. And so one of the things we have to remember is that abundance, Suzie has a great card, wasn't it, about abundance comes from your heart and from yourself. And if you love yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Suzie?
Yes. And I talk with people about we can all love ourselves into abundance. And when we have that, then we move closer towards freedom. And the story that was the family there that painted freedom on the wall.
Yes, they actually were selling their house. They had a dream, a vision of going around the world. I actually met them in the Bob Proctor cruise, which is another great. People go, well, how could you afford to take a cruise before you get your book, Joyce? And I said, well, I really had the intention. Remember, your intention is the most important thing. How strong is your intention? And you could move mountains with great intention. And so I had the intention of going on the cruise. It was about $4,000. I thought, no, I don't want to spend that much. And I actually went to Craigslist USA and I found someone selling her cruise ticket. I called her up and she said her boyfriend had bought the ticket and now they've broken up. And all she wanted to do was to have someone go on the cruise instead of her. And I said, what do you want for it? And she said, $500. And I said, for a 4,000 ticket, an outside room with a patio? She said, yes. I said, tell you what, I'll give you 700 overpriced. She said, sold. She got my name changed. 5 days later, I was on the Bob Proctor cruise to Mexico.
Oh, that is just amazing.
That's how abundance is created. It is from the visioning. It is from the intention. Most of the people that we find that take our course, or we did a boot camp a couple of years ago, they don't know what they want in life. They don't know what their vision is. What is your core vision? My core vision is to open up doors for others. But after saying that, I realized I was getting left behind. So I am going to open up doors and walk through them first. Now that means I take some arrows, but I also get to see and to enjoy the abundance before my others that I bring into it.
That is so this is Joyce. That is, yeah, I think that is absolutely stunning. I just want to say hi to what is becoming a couple of regulars. Hi, Kelly, and hi Trisha. Great to have you here. But I just think that it's about setting the intention, and it's about as most people know, I trained with Michael Lozier, and as he always taught me, abundance is a feeling, and we have to get. And when we set our intention, we have to get into that feeling of doing, of being abundant. And
right. And let me If you, Susie, can I give people one way to feel abundant right away?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now in the East Coast here, we're having quite a summer, very hot. And in Europe, we're having quite a summer, very hot, right? You guys different weather because you guys are in.
And we're having a colder winter than we would
we'll
normally.
talk about that.
I would not normally be in a jumper.
Okay, let's talk about hot. Now you're hot. Maybe you have air conditioning. Maybe you don't. Marina Del Rey, we don't have air conditioning, so we just go with hot teas because we've got the cool of the ocean, hopefully. But one of the things that I say that costs nothing, and to get an abundance, it's something in your life where you can feel and touch it. Now that seems a little crazy, but it's not, because visioning is about every one of your senses. It's about feeling, it's about seeing, it's about hearing, it's about touch. And so one of the things I say is go ahead and get out your ice trays, okay, if you can. If you have some, take little cups, paper cups will work fine, or if you have some recyclable kinds of things, put them filled with water, put them in the fridge, and then you know that you take it all out, put it in a big bowl, and you have an abundance of ice. Now, if you don't have an air conditioner, you can put that ice, just like they've done in the 1930s, put that in front of a fan, and you've got instant air conditioning. But having ice, having something like that you know you can create abundance with, as silly as goofy as something like that is, then you're in abundance. Oh, wow. People come over. Yes, I have ice for iced tea. Of course. Can I bring some ice with me? Of course. And so something like that is just charming. Another way you can do it is to go to the poshest hotel around you. Now, how are you going to do that? I don't care if you walk, take a bike, scooter board, whatever. You go to the hotel, you can put on your nicest dress like Susie and I have on today, and put on some nice shoes, walk in there and walk around, and then sit down and order yourself an iced tea if you can, or a cup of coffee. At most, it's going to be probably $3, $4, $5. Sit there. Most of the time, if you go in the afternoon, you go to the Ritz-Carlton, they're going to give you free cookies, maybe even free sandwiches for their. And suddenly there you are, sitting where kings and queens and deal makers around the world. And in Los Angeles, you go to the Beverly Hills Hotel, of course, and you don't have to order anything. You just sit there, and they're really fine with this generally, unless they're super busy. I go at usually 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I move to one of the couches outside if I can, and I start making my phone calls there. And so part of it is I am in an environment that is full of abundance. It's an abundance of flowers. It's not just an abundance of money and wealth. It's abundance of flowers. It's abundance of great landscaping. And it's abundance of people who treat you like you're a millionaire. They treat everybody the same way, black, purple, white, rich or poor. They're taught that even I remember when one of my clients talking about, Susie said, in the advertising business, I had a banking client and we were opening a new branch. And one of the first things in orientation we told the tellers and the other people is, do not underestimate the power of someone coming in holy blue jeans and a ripped shirt, because we were just a little bit away from Silicon Valley in San Jose. And, all those people, men, women, and even their grandmas, they come in and they don't look the best, but they have really big accounts. So you can't underestimate the other person and who you might talk to. That's the other thing. When I go to one of those things, I'll sit at a little counter and I'll start talking to someone. And actually, that's how I got into grad school at USC in less than 3 hours in film. I'm going to save that for the book, but it's good. So number one is
amazing, Joyce. That really is.
Yeah. And number one is to be nice. 2 is to go to a posh hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 is to see if you can go to your thrift shop. Now I'm going to show you something. Talking about creating abundance.
I have a thrift shop story I'll share as well.
Okay, good. Let me just show this. I went to this wonderful event called Bill Murray, Jan Vogler and Friends New Worlds, okay, in Santa Barbara last year. And I have this CD and I've never played it. To be honest, I don't think I even have a CD player except on my other computer, or in my car. And it's, look, I got it autographed by all of them. Wow, very cool. But it's sitting here and it's not doing anything, and it has little pictures and everything. So I went and looked at what's it worth on eBay. $180. I got it for $9. Well, I'm sorry, but that's going to get sold. Somebody who really enjoys it, who wasn't at the concert, is going to get it. So the other thing is start creating abundance in any way possible. And if you're talking about money being abundance, the easiest way is to do flips, to actually buy something and flip it on eBay or on Facebook Marketplace. And there are some really, really fabulous bloggers that are doing this. You can check it out. But I've made, in the past, I've had 1,300 sales on eBay. And it's really a lot of fun. You have to be real careful that you send the same day. But look at this, $9 to $180. Whoa, that's pretty good.
Well, that is amazing. And it is, one of the ways people can get to feel really abundant is I live, as most people know, I live at the southern end of the Gold Coast, which is the holiday land here, one of the holiday lands in Australia. I live about a 2-minute drive from Kira Beach. Now, people pay thousands of dollars to go and stay in accommodation around here.
Oh, yes.
And I get to be there in 5 minutes walking, 2 minutes sort of driving. So every day I am in abundance because I have the abundance of the sea, and I'm not paying thousands of dollars. I live here. And often when we're going to go away for a holiday and it's busy, we think, oh, well, we might as well just stay here. This is where people come to stay. But one of the other
people
things
don't
that
appreciate their own environment.
Yeah, that's right. I love this environment. It's not where I grew up inland in our capital city where it was, now it's very, very cold. But the other day I decided, I went to a party on Saturday night, and some of you might have seen the picture. And I had a photo taken with a hat on. The hat had shark's teeth and things on. But everybody was saying how fantastic it looked. So I decided on Monday, I think we went for a walk, and we had to go to the shops to get something. So I said, there's a shop down the road that had all these great hats. I said, maybe I can find one there. And everything was too big. So I said, let's go into Vinnie's. Let's go to St. Vincent where they have, right. And for, I think it was $6, I have a hat that, of course, I'm going to take this off. And of course, I'm going to make some silk bands, but it's just perfect.
And it fits you great.
Well, this is it. It fits. There's the women in the shop where the other ones were, I don't know, $80, $100 or something. But she said, oh, well, you can put something in them. And there was one you could tie something, but there were none of the colors that I liked. Everything, and we went into what I call Target as well. They had a beautiful pink one, but it was like they were going to fall off when the wind. So I thought this was amazing. But I thought, now there's another thing of abundance. You set your intention, you go out, and back it comes to you.
Right. And it also becomes a totem for you.
Pardon?
This is part of your branding now, Suzie.
Yes, I was going to have little hats. Joyce, can I just ask you to sit up a bit or move?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're losing your trim.
I'm getting little.
That's better. And I just want to say hi to a very good friend of mine who makes the most beautiful jewelry, of which I am wearing one of her bracelets. Barbie Cawthorn. Yeah, she's a Feng Shui expert in crystals and has a beautiful jewelry shop here on the Gold Coast. Oh, thank you. Kelly
now,
says she really likes the hat.
Suzie.
Sorry?
Bringing up Feng Shui, one of the first things you want to do is to make sure that your doorway is not cluttered. Yeah. Okay? If your door to your house has got clutter in front of it, you're not going to create abundance because you're telling people in the universe, no, don't come in.
No, we've got total clear door. It's just we've just moved, and the doorstep needs painting, and I must do it as well because it's the paint's
Red. Red.
Good
Make
one.
it red.
Right. So we've got, how are we going? Oh, we've got plenty of time. Right. So Joyce has shared ways that you can bring abundance into your life. Is there, I love your idea that we do this 4 times a year, that you come onto the show and we talk about making your vision board.
Right.
And one of the things I was, which is why I wish I had my book here, one of the things I learned when I trained with Joyce was always have a picture of you
Yes.
in the center of
in the
your
center of your board.
Mm.
In the center of your board. And if you
before I trained with you, I had a mirror, but I didn't have a picture of me.
Right. So you want to own your vision. Now, if you happen to have a certain religion, you could put a cross in there for Christianity. You could put Buddha in there. You could put a piece from the Quran. It's up to you. And so that you are really envisioning your best possible life. Remember, that's what we're talking about. And this time of the year, we're talking about summer, fall, winter, spring. Well, we're in August. It's still time that you can revision for 2019. One, you can make a list of the wonderful visions that have come true so far for you, and the miracles and the abundance you have created. And remember, abundance comes in all forms. Like I look outside, I just posted some pictures of what I thought were morning glories, but it turns out that a colleague, a friend of mine, Janine Janine Fisher, told me that they were hardy hibiscus. And so I'm sharing those pictures with her.
I love hibiscus.
Yeah, so flowers come in all kinds of shapes and forms. And the whole idea is that every one of the colors on your board matters too. And so it's still time to make a revision, to make a list of those things that you have accomplished and that have abundantly come to you and that you've created. Remember, we're talking about co-creating this with your universe, not just happening, not just making it, but co-creating. Creation is a really, really fascinating word, term, and concept. And obviously, Suzie, as an artist, understands more than anyone else about creation, right, Suzie?
Yes, absolutely.
And so you think about life being like your garden, okay? And now we're going to trim down those hardy hibiscus a little bit, but we're getting ready for harvesting our tomatoes now. And so our August tomatoes, our August corn, all the good things that'll come toward early fall, little pumpkins we've made, created and seeded. And so part of this is living in abundance in terms of the food you eat. I know you're very careful, Suzie, right? And
yes, I'm. I believe that. I believe what we eat really is reflected in who we are. And
well, it makes us. This is it. This is all fed of what we eat.
And also it's how most people know I chose to go totally alkaline.
Yes.
And I did an 80% alkaline, 20% acid to actually heal my kidneys. And it made a huge difference. And now I do intermittent fasting. So I eat less. And I have a lot more energy.
Well, I'm heading after this to a little spa hotel.
You've just broken up. Hold on. We've just lost you, Joyce. You might have to go out and come back in. She's frozen. Well, while she's frozen, before we finish today, hold on, I just have to send her a message. Joyce, you are frozen. No, I don't think she knows. Can somebody I'll drop a message in. No, I don't think she's looking at the screen. So what I'd like to do is, this was the card for today. Joyce, I've got to ping her somewhere. Hold on. Joyce, we can't hear you. Let's put it on hold for a minute. Right, now let's see, I'll bring her, see if I can bring her back in. Oh, she's gone, she's dropped out. I'll see if I can get somebody drop a message in here and see what. Anyway, so what we'll do, because she's frozen, and I'll just have to let me see what I'll do here. I'll just remove cancel. I don't want to remove her from the meeting. I'll just stop the video for a minute. I'll just bring back here till she comes back in. Right. Okay. While we're waiting to see whether she can come back in, because she's actually frozen, what I want to do is, we talked about freedom, and I use my own freedom board for those of you who've come in later. This is my freedom board that lives in my office. And think about an area of your life that you want more freedom in. Okay, can everybody do that? Think about an area of your life that you want more freedom in. And I'm just going to pull this back up here. And what I'd like, I'm just going to see if I can message Joyce on Messenger. What I'd like people to do is, what's an area of your life that you really want more freedom in? Where can you set an intention to get more freedom? Which would be wonderful. If you could just maybe drop that in the comments. Now what I'm going to do is do a reading for a couple of people, and we'll do it on numbers between 1 and 10. So we'll see the person who puts in the number I'm thinking of first. I've just written a number down. So the person who does that first, I'm just right, okay. Let's see now. Right, okay. Yeah, so we know no sound from Joyce. Right. Sydney said 9. So I'm not sure how many other people we have on at the moment. Tricia, have you got a number? Kelly? Who else was on here? Logan, Joan. People can drop numbers in, and we'll see who's chosen the number that I have put up. Right, Sydney's got 9, and Sydney's looking at, Sydney wants to look at finances. Joan got it. Here we go. Hold on, I'll just hold it up. Joan got the number. The number I wrote down was 7. Okay, Joan. So, right, Sydney, you and I need to have a chat. Right, okay. And travel, of course. That's what I'm doing at the moment, is creating those resources to have this laptop lifestyle where I can still paint and create. We can travel because I only do small paintings at the moment. So yeah, that's what I love about my life. That's what we're building towards at the moment. And right, so Joan, is there an area of your life where you want more freedom in? So I'm just going to take the cards now, and so Joan has got this one, which is number 7, creative freedom. I love it. I love it. Being the creative entrepreneur I am, yes, very much so. Okay, Joan. So Joan, now this reading can be for everybody. So just tap into your heart here. So Joan, take in a deep breath. Think about that creative freedom that you really want. And create time for creativity is what I want more of. Okay, so let's see now. And okay, Joan, are you ready for this? Your card is bold. Creating those resources. Your card is bold. Hold on, I just got to start the. Okay, so let's see now. It's bold. So we've got here, when you are bold, you can step into your brilliance where there is no shame. All right, Joyce is back. Wait a minute, I'll just finish this reading I'm doing while you were away. Wait a minute till I just bring it. There we go. Back again. Joyce is back. I'm just doing a reading for Joan, who wants more creative freedom, more creativity. Joan, this was the card for you, bold, to be bold. When you are bold, you can step into your brilliance where there is no shame. So what I'm sort of getting for you is you want to have more creativity, but you're holding back on yourself as well. So what I would do is we had the freedom card and you've now got bold. You'd like more creativity and freedom here. Get your journal out and just make a note of the cards and just let your pen flow in to say is, how can I, what's an action I can take today that will allow me to move closer to the creativity I really desire. And I hope that actually spoke to you. So now we've got Joyce back. Have I got sound? No.
Yes, I hope so.
Ah, yes, we've got sound. That's good. Yeah, you just froze, so I'm not quite sure what
Yeah, I
happened
know. Internet, you know how it goes.
Internet is one of the...
A little bit more time, Susie.
Sorry?
So I want to tell people how they can get more information, okay?
Yes, by all means, do.
Okay, as we mentioned, you
have something exciting to share with us.
Yeah, the new CD of the Vision Board book, audio CD, is out. It's also on MP3 that you can download. You can go to Amazon and get it. You can also get a free preview of it on Amazon. The nice thing about it, it does come in a CD if you want to put it in your car or you want to play it at your lunchtime at work. I don't know how many people have CDs anymore, but this is a good one.
The car still has a CD, I think.
Your car does. And then it's great for, one of the things is there's some exercises here. So I know that Marian Smith, who reviewed the book so far, said that what she did was listen to it and then stop it and then did the exercise. So that's great. The good thing about this CD is it comes with a 24-page PDF. And that's great. And then if you've bought the book before, which is either the hardcover book or the trade paperback, they will also let you into the Kindle one online for free.
Really?
Kindle. Yeah. So if you bought
Ah,
more, you can get into the Kindle for free. And so if you have any problems, let me know. But now, if you want to get a hold of me, you can get hold of me through Suzie, of course. And also, I have a blog called visionboard.info. And I'm going to take some of the tips that Suzie and I talked about and put them over the weekend. I'm only on, what am I on? Wednesday. You guys are a little ahead. And I will put that in the visionboard.info blog. One of the other things that Suzie just mentioned is that if you want to create boldness in your life, make sure that the pictures surrounding yourself are bold and creative. Don't have little wishy-washy wallflower kind of pictures. You want to surround yourself. Go to the museum and see creativity so that you're immersing yourself once again in creativity. You can start with the writing, but then immerse yourself into creativity and into, of course, the creativity of the forest or the beach. And I know Suzie does this, and I do too, but walk on the beach barefoot. Make
oh,
sure it's clear.
absolutely.
And let that sand get grizzly in between your, have a little towel or whatever. If you want to, for safety's sakes, you can wear your little thongs or your sandals, but get out there and walk, because part of it is you need to walk. And second of all, is that it's called grounding. And so by grounding yourself, getting on grass, getting away from the concrete, this is part of how we were originally as humans. And so we need to get back to that true essence so that we can create, because creation comes from what? Our inner gut. It comes from our soul.
Something's gone wrong here. I had some busy there. That's right, absolutely right. And one of the other things that I wanted to say was I was trying to put your vision board info in, but I'll put it in afterwards. Yeah, so I think I got some of the comments in. Yeah, I've got the book. Vision Board Info is the site. And it was interesting what I just want to go back to when we first started and talking about that history of vision boards. Because
Yes.
You were talking about, the cavemen and things, and I was just thinking of the Australian Aboriginals.
Yes,
All
of
their
course.
drawings
Right.
and everything. I just tell stories of what they want.
Absolutely. And they talk stories and they have their own ideograms.
Mm.
And of course, the Hawaiian people do too. And all the indigenous tribes do. And so we have much to learn from those people.
Yes, absolutely. So, so this has been absolutely wonderful, Joyce, having you here. And I'm going to
Good.
talk to you about, we'll do another show.
Right.
It's going to be interesting because, of course, when you go into fall, we go
Right. You're going into spring.
when we go into summer, you go into winter. So, well, I hadn't thought about actually making boards for seasons. I want to let
Yes.
people know that if you're on my mailing list, on my blog and things like that, and I will be noticing here, I'm actually going to start doing some online vision board workshops, which I have actually, I've mainly just sort of done things offline. So I'm going to be doing that, and we'll do it on Zoom, and people will be able to bring their glue and their boards, and we'll look.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think it'll be lots of fun.
Oh, it'll be great. And Susie's so talented.
And it'll be, what will be wonderful about this is it'll be about setting our intentions and things like that.
Right.
So watch the space for this. I want to thank Joyce so much for being on. I think it's...
Thank you. Sorry I had to duck out, but the publisher wanted to know what we thought of the cover, and we think it's beautiful. So
right.
Thank you, Suzie. And thanks everybody for sharing the vision.
And I'll be in touch again soon. Thank you very much.
Okay, you take care.
To love yourself into abundance. We'll be back next week with
Good.
Show. Namaste.
Thank you.